Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly update for what is today? Oh, October 30th, 2022. I did know that. Anyway, this was it was a good reading week overall. I did DNF several things. One of them is just it wasn't the time for this book. I'm going to move it to another time. I read only 30 some pages, and I was like, no, this is not working for me right now. I want to do another time. The other books just didn't work for me. So and then, the work, the week has been long. It was a long week. This next week will be a little different because NaNoWriMo starts at midnight on the 1st. So I'm taking Tuesday off, the 1st, so that I can be up at midnight to start the novel that I'm starting. We'll see if I keep with it. I think is going to be another NaNoWriMo where I just write whatever comes to mind every day. I do have a novel idea. I just don't think I am in the mindset to be able to write one novel all month. But we will see what happens. I'm going to at least start with it. At least maybe I'll get a good portion started before I have to switch it up. But anyway, so that's but I am going to do NaNoWriMo. So my reading will not be as high in the coming month, just because I will be, most of my time when I get home from work will be probably at my computer here writing. I mean, at least I have to set, I'm going to set a couple, I have to hit my word count, which is 1,667 words a day. So we will see how it goes. But anyway, I took Tuesday off so that I can sleep in, do a couple of errands, and then try to get ahead in my writing. And maybe break up the week because I've had a lot of long weeks recently. So I only have to work one day, and then I get a day off, and then I have to work 3 days, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so that's kind of it. I did go to a library book sale yesterday with my brother, which was great. My dad got mad when he found out we went without him, but I told them a couple weeks ago that this was happening, and then they never said, oh yeah, we want to go, or, remembered that I said it. They both claim that they don't remember. Anyway, why are my bangs? I cut my bangs, and I don't like them. Anyway, fine. So my dad was mad at me, but anyway, and then he's like, well, I have enough books. Yeah, Dad, you do actually. Where do you think I got my habit of hoarding books? Anyway, but my brother and I had a good time. I mean, I took my one bag, and that was all I was allowed to get. And I got, my 16 books packed in there as tight as I got. So I did pretty good for $30. Again, I don't have those great library sales like some people do. Ours are, ours are always more expensive, it seems like. Anyway, I think that's it. So, yeah. So let's talk about the 7 things I finished. Some of them are not novels, don't worry. And then my couple of DNFs, and then what I'm in the middle of, and then what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So, I have definitely continued my Darcy Coates obsession. It's really funny. This year has been definitely a year of binging different authors and different series. So Darcy Coates, I've picked up House of Secrets, which is the second book in Ghosts and Shadows series by her. There are only 2 books, and I really enjoyed this. This is kind of, I would say it's kind of Victorian-ish like time period. We don't really know what time it is or where this is even a different world. I'm not quite sure where it is, but it's like this there's kind of Victorian feeling in the way the carriages and the houses are. We're following Sophie, who in the first book, House of Shadows, which I read last week, she has to marry a man that she didn't know at all. Like, she had to rush marry him because her father was practically ruined. And so in order to save her family, because she has several siblings, she and her father, she marries this guy who's going to bail him out pretty much. So she goes to his estate, and it's her finding out why he married her and why, and the people there are kind of weird, and it's kind of a really creepy building, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. And House of Shadows really went in directions I didn't expect, and I really enjoyed that. House of Secrets follows it, so I can't say much about what this one is, except it's following still Sophie and the aftermath of what happened in the first book. It's only a duology. I really enjoyed these for the gothic feels, for the the ghost stuff, or the creature ghost-ish thing. I don't want to go into what it is, but the point is that I liked how that all went. And how it continued into this next book, and then how it concluded. It finished off that series. So I'm glad I did. And after I finished this, I first had it listed, I was thinking it was like a 3.5 or, that. And then I started thinking about like, well, I really liked both books together. And so I did bump up their score to 4s because they are books that, I really enjoyed, and I actually might reread these ones if I got physical copies of them. I don't own these. Again, I got them from the library, but I would really consider getting this duology. I really enjoyed it for just what it was. Again, it's a little ghost story kind of thing, gothic homes and bad things happening. So I really enjoyed that. So after I enjoyed that, I picked up the other book that I picked up on a whim at the library last week when I was there. And I picked up the first book in the Gravekeeper series, The Whispering Dead by Darcy Coates. So see, Darcy Coates, I've read a lot of her this month. It's a lot. Anyway, so I really, this is modern. And we're following Kira, who wakes up in the woods, doesn't remember anything about herself except that her name is Kira. And she doesn't know these men are following her. And so she stumbles through the woods until she comes across a parsonage, and the pastor there hides her. And, when the guys come knocking on the door for her, or asking if he's seen this woman, and he, of course, lies for her because she's obviously been hurt and, she's hiding from them. So she doesn't remember why, but she has a really bad feeling when she hears, their voice and stuff. So he takes her in and lets her stay in the gatekeeper, the cemetery's groundskeeper cottage that nobody's been living in for a few years. And he just, to help her get on her feet, because they're afraid to go to the police just because these people were, searching for her in the night. So they decide to wait. And while she's there, she starts to realize that she can kind of see ghosts. And so what this book goes on to, and again, this is a series, so there is 2 books out, and the 3rd book is coming out in February. So I don't know if that's the finisher. I'm kind of hoping it's just going to be a trilogy, but we'll see. Just because I feel like it would wrap up, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. I really enjoyed this. She gets to know a couple of the people in town. She gets to know one of the ghosts want her to help her, finish something for her, but she, can't communicate. It's a very different ghost kind of thing where she can see them, but they can't talk to her. They don't have enough energy to do that. They can just mime kind of thing. So, I like this overall. I like the little small town that she ends up in and all the people that she meets and the friends that she makes and how things kind of go. There were a couple surprises in the end of how it went. I was surprised on this one with the directions it went and how things happened. So I really enjoyed this one. And again, I picked this up. I had not heard about this one, but it was there at the library when I went to pick up some other ones. So I picked that up and finished that. And then I forgot to tell you that, yes, of course, Archangel's Resurrection by Nalini Singh was coming out. And of course, I read it as soon as I finished that other book. So, well, actually, I was in the middle of another book and I was DNFing it. So, I forgot, I left my bookmark in it. Anyway, okay. So this is book number 15 in the Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh. Again, Nalini Singh is my favorite author. I just have to put it out there. I mean, she really is. I reread her books. I've reread all of the Side Changeling series this year, as well as the new book that came out, Storm Echo, which I loved. So this one, I hadn't reread this series that much, but yeah, spoiler alert, I'm probably going to start rereading, or I'm going to be rereading the series, because book number 15 was great. It was a different format from some of the other ones. You definitely do not read this book. You can't read this book. You won't understand half of the stuff that's going on here. It's definitely a series. You just start from the beginning. I know that's 15 books, but it really is. Angel's Blood, just for me, it was the first book I read by her. So I have a nostalgic feeling for the whole series pretty much. But 15 brings some characters that I didn't know a lot about and their whole story. And it's epic story. But again, you wouldn't get much out of it. But again, this is a world where there are archangels, angels, and vampires, along with regular humans. And we're following a lot of angel and archangels in this one. So it was just seeing that part of the world is cool. And again, we got to see a lot of history stuff because these are two ancients that we're talking about. It was just great. I mean, it was just fun. Really enjoyed it. Loved it. I marked it here because I was crying, which none of these things isn't one to make me cry too often, but I was crying at page 71. Like, I was just bawling because of something that happens. And I was so shocked because it's been so long since I don't usually have that. I have usually really warm, fuzzy feelings with her books. I mean, the things that happen, but I was just crying. Anyway, but I really enjoyed that. Of course, that just came out, so I've already read it. But that's good. I mean, it's a pre-order, so I read my pre-order right away. And then I had for the library Creepy Cat by Cotton Valent. So this I just saw this online somewhere. And it has to do with this woman who inherits this creepy place. And she gets there and there's this cat who she calls Creepy Cat. Because he can like multiply and do weird things. He's kind of ghostish, kind of alien-like. I don't know, but it was just a weird. Most of the panels are just what this is the panel, like that's the comic, so some of them continue, but not all of them continue farther. It was but it wasn't great. Like, it was okay. Like, as I said, it's kind of a funny drawing. I mean, Creepy Cat was hilarious. Like, but so she is dealing with stuff, and then there's also a cop that is crushing on her, but he's trying to help her in certain things, and it was weird. And it was a library book, so it can go back. I don't care, but I thought it was weird. But I did read them. And then I finished did the Rev Machine Dead by Darcy Coates. This is book 2 in the Gravekeeper series. So as I said, now I'm caught up on this series of hers. So I have, as I said, the third book, which I don't remember, the Twisted Dead? I don't remember. There's another book coming out in February, I believe. So I will be watching my library for that one as well. Because again, this series I like, but it's not like the House of Shadows and House of Secrets, which I loved a little bit more. These ones I still like, though. I really love the characters in this one. This one was a good one of getting her closer to her friends that she's met. We get to learn a little bit more about her powers because she has no memory of certain things. She knows some stuff, like it kind of comes to her, but she has this blank in her life. And then also we get hints of that, somebody is out to get her as well. But this is mostly dealing with some of the dead in the cemetery or the graveyard that she lives next to. And one of them is not a good ghost. Let's just put it that way. So this was just a fun ride. I finished this, I think, on Friday. Yeah, I think so. So I really enjoyed that. And again, that was a good Darcy Coates. I mean, I'm enjoying her writing so much. It's just, they're quick reads, a lot of them, and with a lot of ghostly elements, which is what I love. Really great. So I liked that one as well. Again, was another series. And then, yes, I did start over, as I said, the Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh. Angel's Blood is the first book in the series, in the Guild Hunter series. So I listened to this on audio for the first time. I think I'm going to try to get them through the library if I can. If they don't have a copy, then I will physically reread it. But I was just enjoying it. These are done by Justine Iyer. So I think she does a really good job. I love this book. I mean, as I said, there are flaws because it's the first book in a series. There's things that are open and or things that I don't know that she knew that she was going to have such a long series. I think she even wrote most of this before she decided to make it a series. It was going to be a standalone. So, but I love these characters, Elena and Raphael and Dimitri, and they're just awesome. Anyway, and again, these are like urban fantasy paranormal romances where the world is with archangels and angels and vampires, and then normal humans, and then Elena is a guild hunter, and she's also a hunter born, which means she can hunt vampires by scent. So she has very good senses, and she's trained to be that. And she gets called in to hunt something that is very dangerous in the world. And then it's her interactions with Raphael, who is the Archangel of New York, or of the North America, pretty much. and their relationship and stuff and things that go on. So it's just a fun ride. Anyway, it was fun to listen to some audio. I did a lot of it yesterday when I was cleaning out my pantry because I had so much in there that I couldn't find anything anymore, and I had to toss a lot of food that I didn't know I packed back in there, but it's all clean now. Anyway, but I listened to a lot of this while I was doing that, so I got that done. And then my last Victober read was The Night is Darkening Round Me by Emily Bronte. This is a little collection of like 30 of her poems. I'm not big into poetry. I never have been. I never really get it. I mean, I liked some of her themes. Her themes are very dark, most of them. I liked some of her lines. Like, I thought some of her stanzas were pretty good on certain ones. I just, as I said, I was reading these one a day, and then I kind of stopped for like a week and a half, and then I just burned through the rest of them. I just sat there and read them out loud. Poetry just doesn't do it for me. And again, I can see where there's beauty in there, but I just don't always get it. So, but I did finish it for Victober for the prompt of reading poetry, and I did, finish this. So I at least finished off that book. So those are all the books. Sorry, my throat just went dry. That's all the books that I finished. So let me tell you about the things I DNF'd. We all knew I was going to DNF One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I wanted to really like this. And again, I got 52% of the way through this book before I just set it down, and then I don't want to continue it. So this is a book where maybe in the future I might try it again. And just, I don't know if it's just because I'm kind of in a fantasy slump, and that's why it's hurting me. But the problem is that when I got this, I thought it was supposed to be kind of like For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. And then when I went to look at reviews, because I wanted to know, well, is anybody else feeling the same way I do, where I just lose interest halfway through? They were saying that they liked it better than For the Wolf because it did different things. And I think that that's my problem, is I felt that even though the characters in this book and in For the Wolf are the same age, I felt that For the Wolf made more sense to me, more logically, were adult, while these were making mistakes that I was like, what? Why would you do that? And again, I think the characters around the main character were fine, but Elizabeth, there was something about her that just made me, she was just acting a little young in parts where I thought, in other parts where she was acting like I would say that seemed normal in this fantasy world. It didn't work for me. And I lost steam. And again, I didn't hate it. I just think I lost interest. And I think there's a lot to this. I think other people who maybe didn't like For the Wolf, but was looking for something like that, will like this better from what the reviews I saw. But I just didn't get along with this. And so I'm going to return that to my library. Another DNF is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. I have not read The Year of the Witching. No, I'm not sure I ever will. But anyway, I got 57% of the way through this book. And I just couldn't. And I've seen so many people rave about this book. And I love this book up until like 50%. And then I have marked here on the side 5 instances within 10 pages that I slammed the book shut and threw it down, like on the couch. I didn't throw the book. It's a library book. But I was like, I can't. She's being stupid. And she was. And I'm sure that if I just read a little bit farther, maybe it would have gotten better. But I was so angry after those 5 instances where she did or said something that I'm like, after everything that's already happened, why are you being like this? So this is following a girl or a woman, she's 20, another 20-year-old. Anyway, so I can't think of her name, Marion. So she lives in the slums of this town that's very industrialized, and she has been working as a maid just to make ends meet for her and her brother. Her brother is very ill, but he also uses her for money and stuff because she's the only one working. And so she decides to become a blood maid, which for someone in the north. And by doing that, she is transported to this other world where it's much more high society kind of thing, and people who have much more money and live very differently from what she is used to. So it's really cool about seeing the world and the classism and things that from where she started and things that she experiences. My problem is, again, it was going really well for me, and there was mysteries of, you know, what's going on between the people there and people in the past who had been a blood maid. So a blood maid is someone who gives their blood to the leader of that house. And they're not like vampires, but they use the blood is very important throughout their society. And they're going to get really well paid if they stay on for their indentured servitude kind of thing for like 7 or 8 years. And then they'll have so much money that they can retire to a villa, you know, and be fine for the rest of their lives. So she goes in with all these illusions and wants change and stuff. And so all that's really great. But again, in that 10-page area where I slammed the book like 5 times is because it was like she changed her personality changed for me. And it was like she went from being somebody who was very cautious and very new, didn't really know what was going on, even though, you know, time was passing, this is getting farther in. And then she just got to be super jealous about everything and everyone and started ignoring people, even though they were being nice to her. And I was just like, and then she just was pushing boundaries where I was like, why are you doing that? Like, makes no sense. So it made me angry because she went from being someone I was rooting for and going for, and then she just became annoying and pathetic. And it was just such a quick change for me. And I was just like, no, I'm done. I'm sure it gets better. A lot of people seem to like it. It just didn't work for me. And I think it got just too annoying. And so I am going to get rid of that book from the library after I take out my sticky notes. But I was so mad. Like I was really loving it just before that. And then she just changed and I hated it. Anyway. And then the book that is still going to be on my TBR, I'm not getting rid of this. It's just not the right time, is The Hacienda by Isabel Canes. So I think I can't read this. I've been reading too many ghostly books right now. Again, we're at the end of October and I've read so many. I've done really well of reading my books and reading a lot of library books, but Mexican Gothic I just read last week. I think I was hoping that a week later I could read this one and get this done as well. And I can't. Mostly because I don't like her anywhere near as much as I like Naomi in Mexican Gothic. I like the writing, and but you can tell it's a debut. And also, I liked that the mystery stuff was happening right away. But again, it had to do with the main character. She just wasn't calling to me. And I'm like, I can't read this close to the other book. And so I'm just going to put it down. I will come back to this. Again, I only got 32 pages. It's not going to go away. It's just, I can't read this right now. And I just decided I will move on. So just real quickly, the books that I am in the middle of, I have already started Archangel's Kiss, which is book number 2 in the Guild Hunter series on audio. Again, this is by Justine Iyer. So her audio is great for knowing anything. So I'm really excited to continue that. I read 50 pages this morning. So I've started that, listening in the car and stuff. I am reading 2 other books. One is the Animals at Lockwood Manor by Jane Healy. So this is kind of a sort of spooky book in World War II where a Natural Museum has sent out a lot of their exhibits, and Hetty is taken a lot of the animals to Lockwood Manor to be stored during the war. So they're out of London so they don't get bombed during the Blitz stuff. So she's there with the animals, so she's getting to know Lucy Lockwood, which is the daughter of the guy who owns it, Major Lockwood, and he's kind of gruff and everything, and they're both about 30 years old, and they're both single, but they, again, she's a socialite while Hetty is very much on a low rung, having worked at the museum. And so you're kind of there's kind of some mystery elements in the house. Is there a ghost? Is there a curse? Is there something going on? Something's missing, keeps going missing. They've already lost a jaguar, big jaguar, piece of, one of the exhibits. And then it's them. They're kind of, I think that, you know, I think it's going to go sapphic at some point. But the point is that it's just, this is a very slow book. I've only read 100 pages. And it's just one I want to read here like a little bit, and then I have to read something else. It's slower than a lot of the books I've been reading lately, but it's still good. I'm enjoying it. I just not loving it, which is what I really want to love it. And then yesterday I picked up another book from the library that I asked for, The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. Yes, another one. I'm hoping to finish this by tomorrow, just to finish out my spooky season. So this one is one of the ones that was the first of her books that I'd heard about, but I picked up a different one. But this one is following, is it Adrian? Yeah. Adrian, she is really down in her luck. She is very poor right now. Her mother went through and passed away from like cancer of some sort, and so she had like no money, nothing. She was kind of living on in her friend's apartment, just trying to get by, and she finds out she has an inheritance from a great aunt she didn't know about. So she goes there sight unseen to this house, and it's kind of out a ways from this town. And I've only got 30 pages in, and so she's only been there that night, and she and her cat Wolfgang, he's this big gray cat, are at the house, and of course spooky things start to happen. Anyway, so this again is another one of the, I'm not sure which way this is going to go, but I don't know. It started out really good, so I think I'm going to read a lot of this today. So those are all the books that I'm currently reading. What I hope to pick up later this week, I really need to read Shadows of Self, so I'm hoping to pick this up soon. I also would like to get back to Islands of Abandonment by Carl Flynn. Again, Nonfiction November starts on the 1st, so I would like to get back into some nonfiction. This is the one I've started in August during my vacation, talking about places that have been abandoned by people for various different reasons. I really enjoyed the first half. I need to finish that. And then I might pick up, after I finish the audiobook for Archangel's Kiss, I might pick up Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari, which is on my Nonfiction November TBR that you'll see tomorrow because I just filmed it. Anyway, I just want to get through this to get the book off my shelf, and we'll see how that goes. So that is it. That's it. Of course, I talk too much, and that's Cooper. Anyway, so just real quick, the only things I want to mark is I finished the House of the Ghosts and Shadows series. I started the Whispering Dead, the Gravekeeper one, and I continued that one. I continued with Archangel's Resurrection, and I think that's it. Yeah. And so I don't think I got anything else. Technically, historical fiction was that House of Secrets. And then I DNF'd 3 books. Yeah. Oh, and I had to reread. I think that's it. Technically I'm a classic for the poetry. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's it so far in the October. That's most of October. I don't think much will add to that. Maybe one more would have added for October, but again, we'll just continue it on because this is for the 3 months. So that is it. So, anyway, that's all. I don't think there's anything else. What are you guys reading? How was your reading for October? Did you get a lot of spooky reads in? I did really well this year. Of course, I didn't read much of my Victober reads. I didn't feel like it. And I think mood reading has kind of taken over. And I think I'm just going to allow that, even though, yeah, I still have TBRs and things I want to read, but I'm letting myself kind of fluctuate and change my mind. So I'm not being very strict on any of that stuff, which is why I don't have a TBR game, because there's no way I can do that. So anyway, if you guys are doing anything, let me know how that's going. And my TBR will be up tomorrow for Nonfiction November. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Isn't he cute? Yes, you're cute.